happy guinea pig!
Hi, I'm Alyne. Welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm making an all-time favorite treat of mine, which is a sweet potato pie. And with Thanksgiving coming up, I figured this would be a perfect time to put this out there. Okay. Now, for this recipe, you can use canned sweet potatoes, or you can use fresh sweet potatoes. I personally am using fresh sweet potatoes that I have baked in my oven. And I'm only doing half a recipe because a full recipe will make 2 9-inch pies. So just take into account the measurements I'm giving you is for 1 9-inch pie. And if you want to do the 2, then just go ahead and double the recipe. Okay? First of all, I have here 3/4 of a cup of baked sweet potato that has been pureed in the food processor. Or if you don't have a food processor, you can take a tater masher and mash it down.
Tater masher.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the very first ingredient right there is sweet potatoes. For a sweet potato pie, you got to have sweet potatoes. Second ingredient, 1/2 cup of sugar, divided. Now I'll tell you how to do it if you do for two. For one pie, it is 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of sugar. Okay? So it's 1/2 cup total. If you are making the full batch, which is the 2 pies, you need to divide it into 1/2 cup and 2 1/4 cups. Okay, there's a reason for that. So for the 1 pie, again, it's 1/2 cup of sugar divided into 2 different 1/4 cup measures. Okay, the next ingredient is 1 large egg. 2 tablespoons of butter, softened. Again, if it was for a whole recipe, it's going to be 2 eggs and 1/4 cup of butter softened. Since it's the 1, it is 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of butter. Next is 2 tablespoons of milk. Again, for the full recipe, it would be 1/4 cup of milk. This is 2 tablespoons of milk. Now, for the seasonings, I have here 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And it calls for a pinch of salt. Technically, a pinch is roughly 1/8 of a teaspoon. So I have about 1/2 of that, so about 1/16 of a teaspoon is what I'm using. But for the full recipe, you'd want 1/4 of a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon, and 1/8 of a teaspoon. So 1/4 on each of the cinnamon and nutmeg, and 1/8 on the salt. But half that for this one again. So it's be 8, and a pinch, so it'll be about 16. And here I have a 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla. For the full batch, it's going to be 1 teaspoon. So again, 1/2 a teaspoon here. And I have a pie crust that I made up yesterday in the freezer, and I will link my recipe for homemade pie crust somewhere up in here. And if you want to use store-bought pie crust, that's entirely your choice. You know, I'm not picky either way on that. That's your kitchen, your rules, your baking, not me. I don't have anything to say on that. Because I know a lot of people that don't know how to make pie crust. I also know a lot of people that prefer store-bought pie crust. It's none of my business what you use. That's you.
Personal choices.
Personal choices. Okay. With electric mixer in a bowl, you can use a stand mixer, or you can use just a bowl with an electric mixer. Mix together thoroughly the potatoes. 1/4 cup of the sugar. Put the sugar there. I'll call this off as the 1 egg. Make sure that eggshell's cracked. There we go. Yeah, I got to get me a paper towel. Okay. 4 cups sugar, the egg, the butter, which is softened, the milk, the seasonings, and the vanilla.
Niller.
And you notice that's everything but the fourth of a cup of sugar, right? Yeah. Alright. And y'all, that's how quick this can be done. I'll clean up these beaters here in just a second. Oh, yeah, but those is itching. Don't need no company today, y'all. I got too much to do. Like I said, I got too much to do. And if I get Piggy to hand me my pie crust out of the freezer. And yes, y'all, that is homemade, even though it's in a aluminum pie tin.
We got extra tins lying around.
Yeah, and I use what I got. I've got my other pie tins packed up because I never did use them. Then when I go to use something, it's packed up, out of my way. So I just use what I have on hand, which is a store-bought tin, which that's fine. Okay, we'll do that. Now, right now, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven. And I'm going to preheat it to 300 degrees. Piggy never turns that thing off, so we take stuff out of there. I said the Piggy never turns that thing off, so you take stuff out of the oven. The oven goes off.
Take it out. I don't know how to mess with it much otherwise.
All right.
This is her domain, folks, not mine.
All right, now the pie shell. And pour the pie filling in there. Now again, if you're making the full recipe, you would divide this evenly between the two pie shells. But, I only wanted the one pie because it's just the Piggy and myself. And with Thanksgiving coming up, we may eat a small portion of this today. And then I can always put the rest of it back in the freezer until the day before Thanksgiving and then take it out, thaw it out. That's the one good thing about these pies is you can always bake them ahead of time and then wrap them up and freeze them until you get ready to use them. Then all you have to do is just take them out, thaw them out, and then serve them. And yes, I know that butter is not fully incorporated into that, but that's fine because it will be when it melts into the mixture in the oven. Now, I will tell you that I have been making this particular recipe for about, I want to say a good 20 years, almost 20 years. I found it in a recipe book, and I will give credit to that recipe book. It is Trisha Yearwood's Georgia Cooking in an Oklahoma Kitchen. I think that's the name of it. And it is her, the filling recipe is in her cookbook, okay? So I will give her credit for that. The pie crust recipe is my own that I have kind of adapted from about 2 or 3 different others. I found some that I like. But what you do with this 1/4 of a cup of sugar is you take and you sprinkle it over the pie. And it has to sit for 15 minutes so that the sugar can absorb or melt into the pie.
You gotta let that set before you put it in the oven.
Yeah, this will have to sit for 15 minutes, roughly 15 minutes, so that sugar can absorb into the pie. And what this does is, even though it's absorbed into the pie, it will help give that top just that little bit of extra crust and a sweet crust at that top. That's why I said, if you're doing the 2 pies, you would mix half a cup of sugar into the pie mixture, and then you would divide the other half cup into 4 cups, 2 1/4 cup measures, because you want to put a 1/4 cup of the sugar on top of each pie. All right, now that's going to sit for 15 minutes, and I've got the timer set right here for 15 minutes. And when this goes off, we'll put this in the oven. So we'll be back when we take this out of the oven, because it's going to have to bake it 1 hour or until a toothpick test in the center comes out clean, just like you would a cake. And then you have to bring it out and let it sit. But when I bring it out, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we will let it cool before we eat it. So we'll see you when this comes out of the oven. All right, the pie is out of the oven, and that has cooled. And yeah, it turned out looking really good. And it did bake for right at an hour. And I did the toothpick test on it, and it came out clean. So, let me get my stirrers. All right. Now bring the good stuff over here. The other good stuff, I should say. Got some whipped topping.
Store brand.
Store brand. Yeah. I know it is not homemade, but you know what? Sometimes you just do what you got to do. Because this don't hurt my stomach. Unfortunately, the real deal does now. I'm just going to cut a space here. And since I'm hungry and Piggy's hungry, I'm going to cut us a decent piece. I'm hoping this works. And I'll probably wind up breaking my crust. There here. Need a little bit of break in between that if I can. There we go. Like that. Make sure I have that crust cut all the way through. Just a second here. Get this done. Okay. There you go. This crust ain't want to release. There we go.
It's giving her a hard time, folks.
It is. It is. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Said, I'm going to make you work for it.
That looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all got to see the top of that very well where that sugar was put on there, but you can see there's a slight sugar glaze on there from that.
Yeah, they should be able to see that.
There. I'll lay that right there with that as well. And I just took the seal off of this just a second ago.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't waiting, folks.
Set that over there. And let you see it with the dollop on there. That looks so good, y'all. The look on Piggy's face. Fine.
Now you understand the look on my face.
Sweet potato pie has always been my favorite since I was a little kid. My granny used to make them around Thanksgiving and Christmas. The only time of the year I ever got them. And I loved them. But she'd bake them up during Thanksgiving and Christmas time, put them in the freezer. And when they were gone, they were gone. Then all I could find after she passed away were pumpkin pies. Just weren't the same.
They weren't real pumpkin, were they?
It was that canned pumpkin instead of pumpkin pie.
Like I said.
Yeah. But, yeah, so good. If you like sweet potato pie, this is a wonderful recipe. And all I can tell you to do is try it. But I do thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a great day.
Bye, y'all.
Work, Michael.